Hi students, my name is Mr. Maloney and this is my presentation on bullying and DASA. So before we go any further, I'd like to thank New York State Education Department, St. Joseph's College, Yale University, and bullyingstatistics.org for some of the information in this presentation. So first off, we have to know uh, what DASA is. DASA is a new policy declared by New York State. It's the Dignity for All Students Act. Basically, it's an environment that is free from discrimination and harassment, and that is from student to student, student to teachers, student to peer, and so on and so forth. So it covers everybody. So, today we're here to talk about bullying. And my experiences with bullying has evolved over the years. It's quite different from when I was growing up. Now we have things like cyberbullying, which we're going to go over later on. But back in the day, it was not uncommon for students to get bullied, especially in the boys' bathroom. It was a little more uncommon, I believe, for girls to bully each other, but that is progressing as well and evolving, and you'll see more information on that shortly. So I created a survey, and this is some examples of the survey. It's on a separate sheet of paper. Here's some of the questions on the bullying survey. See, it's a two-pager. You'll see it's 15 questions, and we're going to watch some videos after this that are not included with this. That's going to be a separate segment on some of the impacts and ramifications of bullying. So please answer these questions honestly. This is an anonymous survey. This is for your good to help you and your peers. So why is it important to discuss bullying? Before we go there, though, we must know what the definition of bullying is. So here it is, bullying definition: when someone repeatedly and on purpose says or does mean, harmful, or hurtful things towards another person who has a hard time defending him or herself. Usually it's an imbalance of power. And I actually state it 3 times because this is very important. There's a difference between bullying and teasing, which we're going to go over shortly. But an imbalance of power, it's repeated and it's harmful. Those are the 3 key words out of this paragraph. So if you notice, this presentation is done in an iceberg theme. There's icebergs behind us on the backup of the slides. And why the iceberg themes? It's many times because similar to an iceberg, bullying goes unnoticed. An iceberg is unnoticed. That's what sank the Titanic. It was underwater, hidden away. Bullying often happens out of sight, behind closed doors, locker rooms, hallways, cafeterias. A teacher or adult is not always immediately present. So if you're being bullied, you need to make it known. So again, why are we discussing bullying? It's actually very sad why we're discussing bullying, because the number of students who get bullying is shocking, and it's also very sad when you see on the videos later on. Bullying could lead to missing school, anxiety, and even death. Yes, I said death. 14% of high school students thought about suicide after being bullied. 7% actually attempted it. Bully victims are 2 to 9 times more likely to consider suicide than other non-victims of bullying. That's according to Yale. So you can see this is a very serious concern out there. So why do students engage in bullying? It's usually the bully. He wants power and control. He likes to embarrass others. There's an intent to cause harm, and it's an abusive situation. So even the victims who are getting hurt have problems, but even the bullies themselves have problems that need to be dealt with. So there are many different types of bullying. There's physical, which is hitting, punching, pushing. We all know that. But there's also verbal, name calling, teasing, so on and so forth, leaving people out of certain things, which is psychological. I'm going to go into that a little further. So what's the difference between teasing and bullying? Teasing is petty and annoying. Bullying is habitual and it's intimidating. There's a fear. They're not just bothering you. They're intimidating. They're making you fearful. So that's the big difference, and it's habitual. It happens more than once. So examples of bullying are psychological, social, relationship relational, and cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a new one we're going to discuss. Psychological could be, just making fun of someone, leaving someone out of a group, intimidating the person, deliberately making comments about them. So you got to be very careful with bullying. It's not just hitting someone. So, and again, this happens quite often. Cyberbullying is harassment or bullying of any form by electronic communication that creates a risk within school. So you may do something home at night, say something inappropriate to another student, but that student may come to school and there'll be some problems related in school to what was said over a text, at Instagram, on Facebook. This is bullying, and this does affect you in school. The school has a no bullying policy. So here are some signs of bullying: withdrawal from peers, absences from school. Many times students who are bullied are fearful of going to school. They're socially isolated. There's unexplained cuts and bruises. There's also a decline in interest in school. Maybe their grades go down, or they used to participate in clubs and activities and they don't do it now. Unusual sadness, fears and uncertainty. You could sometimes tell by looking at a student that he's just not him or herself, that they're uncomfortable. So when does bullying take place? You may think it only takes place at certain times, but most of it, believe it or not, happens during school hours. It usually doesn't happen when you're coming and going from school. It's actually in the school, and it's when there are unstructured activities, such as sometimes outside at recess, at lunch, sometimes in the gymnasium. So these are the areas where there's not always an immediate adult around. There may be one watching 50 children. So these are the times that you have to watch out for. Bystanders are also victims of bullying. What do I mean by that? If you see somebody bullying, it has a negative impact on yourself. You may feel powerlessness, like you can't do something. You may also have a fear of being victimized next by that person. There's anxiety. So it's not just the bullying hurting the victim, it's also all the bystanders. People may not want to put themselves in certain situations if they know that there's a bully there victimizing people. They're concerned, what if it's me? What if it's one of their family members or their friends? So what should you do if you're being bullied or seeing someone bullied? This is what it's leading to. Tell them to stop. You have to report it. Report it to the principal, a teacher, a guidance counselor, administrator, a counselor. Tell it to somebody, but you need to tell the bully to stop as well. So that's the first step. Don't ignore it. It's not going to go away. This is why New York State created this DASA Act, the Dignity for All Students Act, because it's so rampant and it's not going away. And they don't want students missing school just because they're afraid of getting bullied. This is unacceptable. So what do you do when dealing with acts of bullying? You need to know, and this is more directed at the parents and peers and teachers, you need to know the student code of conduct. Students should know that as well. You need to act quickly. When it happens, act on it. Report it, follow up, and be responsive. And the reports, you want to do it privately. You don't want to embarrass the students. You want to make sure the student knows you're looking out for their best interest. There are surveys done that many times students feel, sorry for the interruption, there are many times when students feel that they report an act of bullying and the adult or the supervising person ignores it and doesn't take them seriously. So you can't just brush it off and say, toughen up, or it's not bullying. Any act of bullying needs to be reported and addressed. And you need to support the victim. You need to keep records, and you need to monitor the students and monitor the situation. Don't just take the report and not look out. And with the new DASA Acts, teachers are responsible for students in all areas of the building, not just in their classroom. So if they see something happening in the bathroom, in the hallway, in the cafeteria, it needs to be addressed. All teachers are responsible at all times that they are present in that specific location in the school building. So keep an eye out. And again, some of the credits to niced.gov, St. Joseph College, Yale University, bullyingstatistics.org. So after this, we are going to take the survey, and then we are going to watch some videos on bullying and some of the ramifications and the shocking ramifications that you will see on students who have been bullied and how it's impacted them, their friends, and their family. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk soon.